Okay, so that was the intro story. Even achievement! There's achievements in this game? That's amazing. Okay. Whoa says, back online, good. Okay, phew, I was worried. Sorry to pronounce Jilly. Haven't seen anyone online for a day or so. What's happening? Oh yeah, let's talk to May again. Ollie asked about Josh. Oh, Ollie. Oh no. Are you gonna tell him? Oh, what? Oh my god, I did not think that this would have actual walking around. Oh, why is no one asking about Danny? No. Why? Daily recipe. Hungry and frozen. Developer, we are seeing eye to eye. So I did the thing, Ollie. I did the thing. I'm amazing. Willow, I need to talk ASAP. I like the gameplay. I like the mixture of desktop horror and actual walking around. I thought that was really cool. It was nice to play. It ran smoothly. It kind of felt good.
That's incredibly Damon. Let's do it. I can't believe we're actually off the laptop. Oh, wow. Oh, this is creepier than I thought, guys. It just really settled into me, you know? I'm so afraid to, like, get close. Whoa, hide! Wait, whoa! Oh, God! Get off! Oh, man, that was scary. I'm glad I got him that screwdriver. So, I set off the car alarm. I think I think he saw me, came up to me, kicked my door in. I was ready for him, though. Never shot a person in the whole thing. Holy shit, it's a lot of blood. Like, way more than I was ready for. That bathroom. It's Ollie. What's up, man? Oh, no! Ollie! SOS, man! Oh, it's horrible. Holy shit, that was really good! Oh, it kept me on edge. I like the style of it, and the gameplay, like I always tell you guys, it had that atmosphere to it, man. It had my mind working against me, and that's exactly what you want out of horror. But such a small project, I gotta see the credits here. What a cool little horror experience, guys. The last message.
But I see no actual picture of my child. I assume that I am grieving and therefore do not want a picture of my child around. No, I don't like that this is a thing. I don't like that I can do this. This implies that at some point something's gonna get in my house. And I don't like it. God damn it, James. James!
So I could joke, or I could tell the truth. As we all know, jokes are always funny and are never taken out of context, especially through text. That's why it's called context. Because, like, without text. So don't text without context. I knew we'd figure it out together. You can't right-click, right. Oh, a dog. A cute little dog. Great. Oh, the two dogs! Two dogs! Due to the viral outbreak spreading faster than anticipated, the government has declared a nationwide state of emergency. Yeah. We've been there. Oh, God. Oh, here we go. All right. Nope. Here we go. Yeah. Whoa, all right. It's kind of just floating outside of it. That's fine. I got an achievement.
I heard something. I want to peek again.
Ah! Hey, give me that. Hey, give me that. Hey, gimme. There we go. This has been a lot of fun. I really like this game a lot. James Games, Good job. It did ring of Welcome to the Game, which is a very scary game. And I really like the art style of this geometric like shapes and everything. I thought it was really neat.
I do got a lot of damn tissue. Holy shit, girl. Where was you when COVID started? People would have raided your shit. I just had to sit there and check around, you know, so I can, oh my God, there's gonna be people in this. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's just some bull. Well, let's go die. Let's go die. Fish, y'all know what to do. Y'all know exactly what to do. This some scary shit. This scared. This scared. Was it a choice for me to... I did that like a champ. Woo! Oh my God. Oh my God. Yo, I like that. I like that. And look at what it came from, what it was looking like when they was making it. Oh, I like that. I like that. That game was so dope because it was different. Usually when you think of zombie games, you think of survival, you know, apocalypse, like crafting, you know, Resident Evil. You know, where you really get in there and you just be killing zombies. You know, sometimes you ain't got a weapon, so you gotta sneak. But this game took it to another level and it was realistic. You just communicate with the people you know in the real world.
Hi. In this video, we're going to be talking about Last Message, a free indie horror game that's on Steam. We're going to be going over all the different steps required to make the game and how we got it to where it was, different things we had to buy or do, different people to talk to, and how the community reacted to the game in the end of it. This video is mainly for people that are already into game development, but if you are either a veteran or just getting into it, perhaps you'll learn something. Maybe it will inspire you. Who knows? Also, caution warning, I did a lot of takes for this, but I didn't realize I was using the wrong microphone, so I apologize for that in advance. Please enjoy. So we're talking about a game I made. I made this game called Last Message on Steam. You can go download and play it for free. Let's just get that out there and out of the way. So 1 year after full release, so we had about 1.6 million people saw the game pop up on Steam. 1.1 million people visited the Steam page. 9,000 plus people have played the game. 2,000 people wishlisted it. About 130 people have reviewed it and sent about 17 negative reviews. So overall, it cost me about $1,700 US. There's for certain things that I decided to pay for on through Unity. That's Unity Cloud Build and addressables, things like that. Paid for some assets to just help us build the game and reduce on time. And of course, had to go and get things like hoodies and t-shirts and things like that as well, because why not? Still ended up gaining about $0. The purpose of this project was not to make money. I didn't want to have a price tag attached to this in any way, so there's no Patreon, there's no Kickstarter, there's no secret PayPal account that only the pros know about. Yeah, nothing came in. If I were to attach a price tag on it and say about 25% of the players actually still made it through, I probably would have made about $2,700 US after tax. So that would have paid for everything, but keep in mind that is also after 1 year and having a team that would not have made a dent. So I also make games as a full-time job as well, but I still decided to make my own game on the side as well. Why would I do that to myself? Making games is hard, as we're going to get into this. So I attended Kiwi Jam in July 2019, and it's currently September 2022 now. And I got together with these lovely people, and we made a game called Welcome to the Chain Reaction. And a little summary of how that worked was, it's a quiet-based horror game where you talk to a stranger using a computer and find a cure for a zombie virus while also being stalked by a zombie. So in this game, you got to use an actual computer, drag windows around, talk to people. You had choices to talk to them as well. Yeah, so you had a physical environment that you get to walk around in as well, which is nice and spooky. You also had a baby in a separate room which cried, alerting you that the zombie was around, so you had to scare them off. And then of course you had the zombie too that would just like jump out and bah! You had to stare at it for like 5 seconds and then it would play the animation disappear. It was very basic. If you didn't, it would literally just kill you and the game's over. So we had some people play it at the Kiwi Jam, and overall they were like, this is pretty good. Pretty good. On itch.io, decided to check it up on there just because, you know, part of the Kiwi Jam, throw it out there and to see how it goes. One of my first games I checked on there. And of course had one Let's Player jump in, Levant. So yeah, it was a great game, very spooky, quite different. And of course, when I saw that, I just thought, what? Someone played my game and made a video on it? No. No. But I kept thinking about it and I was like, okay, that psyched me. Let's rebuild this game from the ground up. Figure out what its positives and negatives were and just go from there. But I wanted to have a plan. I don't want to just spend 2 years making a game and have nothing really come out of it. And also I knew that it was going to be hard, so I needed something to drive myself to push. So I wanted to make a name for myself, right? I wanted people to know that the games I make are good, and I don't want to put something out that I'm not happy with. I wanted to prove to myself that I can make more than just prototypes, because I got so many folders full of unfinished games that are just, oh, I'm going to make this, that's exciting, and then not. Just stop after one day. I wanted to build a framework for future games to use, so I wanted to make this game so that way my next game can also use a lot of it. My next one is going to be a lot faster to make, so I don't have to code everything again or plan everything again. I could just go yoink, bloop, yoink, bloop. Yeah, you saw that. Cool. And of course I wanted to get the game featured by a popular influencer now. Markiplier and Jacksepticeye come up a lot. They're like one of my favourite just from their personalities. I've been watching them for years play games. Like Markiplier's like 3 scary games. I wanted to try and get in there before he hit 100. Yeah, to be a goal of mine. So I got together with a new team, and we all sort of leaked out into a bunch of things. Like we started coming up with a nice whiteboard of things that we wanted to do, when to have them done by, and then also went through a huge design process of what is the story, who are the characters, what is the chat like on the computer going to be, and how does everything tie together into the end. And then came into the programming sides. In this case, I had to create this little program in Unity that allowed us to easily write chat messages between the different people, and I give the player things to choose and wait for things and whatnot. So this was extended from the Welcome to the Chain Reaction. And of course, we worked on a flexible player controller. The one from the Game Jam was very gung-ho. It worked for the Game Jam, but it wasn't enough. So split that out into a state machine, so that way we could have things like you can transition to and from the laptop, and you can jump into a wardrobe to hide. And there's also a cutscene as well, so that way the player is kind of stuck there while something is playing, and then it just returns the player back to what they were doing. Yeah, so Near the end, we had to make quite a lot of different builds to test it and test it and test it and make sure there weren't problems. So I made another program so that way I can essentially click 2 buttons, make a build, and then put it on Steam for pretty much anyone to play. That saved me a whole heap of time when later on down the line when we had one fix, make a build, put it on Steam. That just took like an hour. I didn't want to do that, so this chopped it right down. Of course, something we wanted is more clever AI. We certainly made progress. It did get a little bit better in time. Yeah, so it could actually walk around, open doors. It could even listen for you as well. But of course, we eventually had to scrap this because what I realized was if you have something walk around stalking you, the player is just going to be too scared to read the story and immerse themselves into the world that we have, the digital world. So instead, we actually replaced the monster with just a little cutscene of him being like, blah! And then the door closes. It's a huge waste, but I'm very happy with the result. So we wanted to have the player put something onto a washing line and move it to your neighbor, so the other person that you're talking to. So we started working on that to figure out how that's going to work. And of course, you know, there are times where things just go completely wacky, just all over the place, just completely loses its shit. But in the end, we managed to get something that worked. And in this case, we had it so it'd move a little bit, stop, and then move a little bit, stop. Can't remember why I decided to do that, but we ended up changing it so it's just one big flow. Because people ended up getting confused as to when it actually finished. Alright, cool. Yes, so we worked on level design. Yeah, we wanted to flesh this one out a lot more. So we worked in to rebuild the lighting, work on a lot more of the environment. We had Tim that spent a lot of time in Blender, just fleshing things out, adding more details. And of course, we tried a high definition random pipeline just to make the lighting a lot smoother and stuff, but overall I wasn't too happy with that because I just didn't understand how to use it. Stuck with AUFE instead. And of course we decided to go with some Cinti Studio assets because we realized there's just so much that will need to be made. And we wanted to save time. We weren't being paid for this, so there's no point in us spending 2 years just making models of chairs and things like that. We'd rather get the gameplay in and just save some sanity. When it came to the main menu, went through a bunch of different iterations. This case wanted it so the window was there and you can actually like go out the window to try and start the game. You could even interact with the laptop at that point too. Another case we had to use this for graphic novels, so you had like the little head behind you, you're looking directly at the laptop, making it all spooky so you knew what to kind of expect. Even at one point had a very interactive main menu, so every button you clicked went to a different part of the room just to see how it felt, but I think it was just trying to be too clever at that stage. We did have a slide as well for the monster that we were planning to have, but evidently scrapped. So in the end we went with just a little cutscene, so a completely different area. The reason behind this was the main menu should be there to portray the story, not where the player spends most of their time. So this here is the area where Jill lost her family, which is why at the end of the game you see Josh lying there, because that's where he gets shot. We had a lot of characters in this as well, so we needed some pictures to put into the chat or onto people page. So built these out, just nice simple images to kind of portray their personality or where they are. The least obvious one is obviously the bottom left for Ollie. That was kind of a rushed thing because is it the girl or is it the guy? We don't know because Ollie can be a very non-gender specific name. So the time came for Steam. So I forked out $100 in order to publish Last Message on Steam. And with that came things like having to create new custom images for the profile for it to appear on your Steam library or on the store page. And one of the ideas we came up with here was, you know, cameras are behind Jill, all spooky, you don't know what she's looking at. Another idea was that it would just show the desktop in general, give you the idea of what you'll mostly be doing. Another idea was that the Jill wouldn't be there and that you get to see the laptop as a bit more bright and colourful. But of course the title there kind of made it a little bit more spooky. Evidently we came up with this idea so that way you can see Jill's face. You can see Henry behind her, giving it that more of an impression of a home invasion game. Something I'm not good at is reading. So you have to write a description of the game for the Steam page. A short summary, just a couple sentences, or just one sentence if you can, and then a nice big blob describing your game so players know what they are expecting when they jump in. I don't do that. I just hear from people play this game, it's about blah blah. Or I see a influencer play a game and have fun. I'm like, oh, I want to play that. So I never read these. So what I had to do was go to a few of my favorite games and read their descriptions and understand how they wrote them. In this case, I broke it down into the different types of mechanics that the player interacts with, as well as a description of the story. But majority of people would only ever actually read the very top one, which is everywhere. So if this is incorrect, then people just don't enjoy the game. So we had to get some screenshots. So obviously this actually meant we had to have the game a bit more finished, which this point we were. So chuck a bunch of those images on there. And we also had to have a trailer as well. So Billy also smashed out a trailer with Brogan as well. She was our audio engineer. And they managed to come up with something really cool. Throw up onto the YouTube page and see how that went. We also wanted achievements and stats so we could kind of see how people are engaging with the game. So we came up with about 10 different achievements. Most of them are required and a few are optional, so we'll get into those a little bit later on. It wasn't too difficult putting these into the game. The API is actually pretty interesting, but if you're a beginner watching this wanting to understand how to do things, I really recommend you jump onto the asset store and use something from there. You will save yourself so much hassle. Trust me. Okay, so blogs. Yeah, everyone does a blog these days. Blogs, right? Yeah, not vlogs. So I put up a bunch of different posts when we had a team meeting. Just that way I could update anyone that's interested. So I put a bunch of them on itch.io, I put a bunch of them onto IndieDB, and then I started putting a bunch onto Steam as well, just to get a feel for which one brings in more players and who's actually interested in reading these. So itch.io eventually got me 0 comments. Even today, there's still not a single comment. Got about 100 odd views. IndieDB got lots of views, 0 comments when I put them up, but then they just dropped down to less than 100. Steam got a few more comments. I don't know if they're bots or not, but there wasn't much to take home from it. So they're still sitting around 100 views. So overall, I prefer Steam just because it's a bit more engaging for me to see what people actually want and if they're interested in blogs, which are just pictures explaining what we actually did. in terms of what actually brought people to the game, I think that there's just, you put a blog on Steam and then share that on Facebook or Reddit or whatever. So that way it takes people straight to Steam and they can just wishlist it very quick. Everything else, in my opinion, has its perks, but I didn't find it engaging. So that there was all 1 year of development. It's in 2020 in October. So we released it for the October Game Festival on Steam. And we managed to get to the front page for a while. So we got a lot of people actually playing it. After about 1 month, we had almost 100,000 people saw the Steam page. We had 5,000 people visit it. About 200 plus players, people actually played it. 280 wish lists, and no one actually reviewed the game. I don't think you actually can for a demo. So I was like, yeah. Bunch of people made videos on it. The most obvious one, Noxon, so 50,000 subscribers. Good reviews on there. Everyone else was pretty good. Levon also made a follow-up to it, so I was very happy with the amount of content that got shared. So overall the notes were average in general. A lot of good points in there just to help diverse the amount of add a bit more diversity into the game, so not everyone spends an hour reading for no scares, or they get stuck on something, or there's just bugs. But overall, no one hated the game, and I consider it to be a big win. So I decided to submit the game to the New Zealand Game Awards in New Zealand called the PAVs, and we managed to get, or we were finalists in 2 awards. One was in excellence in audio, thanks to Brogan and later on Jade, that also came in to give us a hand, and also excellence in narrative, which was run by a few different people. So everyone did amazing work there. And of course the team went out, minus Tim. So we all got there and got for an award. And of course during this time as well, I wanted to make some merch so we could have like shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, which is why you see me wearing like this one here. Yeah. So then came actually finishing the game, because we had a demo that we knew was good, that can be better, so we decided to flesh it out. In this case, we started with like the Raider, because the demo finished with a knock smash, and then it just cut. So the next part is actually putting in like the Raider, what happens when that knock smash happens. In this case, this is what the Raider actually does, for those of you that don't know. All he does is walk up to you, walks up to the window, and then leaves, even clipping through the table a little bit there. Chucked in a bunch more notes, things like that. So give the player a bit more world building around what's actually happening, not just in the apartment, but outside the apartment. And then of course had to add in some more animations too. So we got Peter to come and join us, and he made some amazing animations. The left one was for Henry, so he's no longer a cutscene, but he's actually just stuck under a shelf, still bandaged, and the player has to pull out a screwdriver, so that way the player doesn't actually miss it. On the right hand side is Ollie when he gets bit at the very end of the game, puts up a bit of a fight and turns, so the player actually gets to witness the character that they've been talking to die, and then risk coming after them. Had to chuck in some Easter eggs as well, because of course, why not? So we definitely, around this time was COVID, so we had to chuck in something hinting towards it. This game was not made for COVID. It was started way before COVID and designed way before that. But we wanted to kind of bring in some Easter eggs to hint towards it. In this case, the real heroes and the nurses, they were the ones on the front line helping everyone that was sick from the illness. And of course, it bled into the world here as well with the zombie infection. Put in some hints towards some of my favorite YouTubers as well, like Mr. Craven here, obviously. Didn't play it, I'm not salty. And of course, since we did get the PAV nominations, I had to put a PAV in the fridge. Most people think it's a cake or don't even know what a PAV is, pavlova. So I found that kind of funny. This is definitely not a subtle, this is an extremely subtle one, not too obvious for most people. So one of my favorite games is The Beginner's Guide by Davey Redden. In that game, you have a little mini game of cleaning up a room, and it's meant to be very soothing for the soul. So we added in cleaning to add towards Jill's health. For like her mental health, just to help her feel like she has something in control, and of course hint towards Beginner's Guide. So after about 2 years, we can kind of compare how things have progressed. So on the left is the game jam, right is how it is now. And of course, all the different areas, you can see how it just looks so much more alive. There's still a lot more room for improvement, but really happy with the result. Tim did an amazing job with everything. Yep. So here we are 2 years later. The game finally released on Steam fully. And after 1 month, we had about 300,000 plus impressions, about 900,000 visits. I don't know how that works, but that's the case. 2,000 plus people played the game. 800 plus wishlists at this stage. 46 reviews and 4 negatives, and then a heap of influences as well. So it still cost me $1,700 US at this stage. Already discussed this one. Still made $0. But at this stage, I would have made about $300 US after a month, if 25% of these players actually paid for the game. So you must be thinking, the game finally released, right? It's done. Yeah, let's call it celebration. Yeah, let's do that. That's cut off. So let's shrink that. And there we are. Is it too small? I don't think so. Whatever. Yeah, cool. No, it's not, because I had massive imposter syndrome. So, well, how did everyone react to the game? And they said, I really like it. This game is overall really good. It's a good short game. It has lots of potential. Looking forward to seeing more from this developer. This game has a really interesting story. Solid effort. Really enjoyed it. Fun game. And even after 100 reviews, very positive. But I'm looking at all of this information and I'm like, I don't understand what people are saying. I am so confused. I'm very confused. And then of course, like the negative reviews come in. One person just says the UI is broken, can't see anything. It's blank. I don't know. I can't see. I don't know how that's even possible. But I'm like, yeah, okay, the game's bad. I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, never mind. What a waste of time. Oh. But of course, in came the influences. Lots of variation from people. Lots of different reactions. And of course, I made a big playlist on it to help me track them all. About 35 videos at this stage. Yeah. Most of them had really good things to say. They said that they liked it. It's a kind of a different game, very spooky, atmospheric. Some of them had more direct criticisms towards the story and towards the game's development. those types of reviews I found very helpful because it's not something that I really consider, not something I could do about it now, obviously, but at the same time, that's what helps me become a better game developer, is I really want to understand how to make things better, and if I only get positives, then I feel great, but I don't know how to improve. So of course the game came with bugs. It's the very first version. We tested it as much as we could, but at the same time bugs still slipped through. The most obvious one on the left here is the key. So most people thought it was a key to 302, but it was actually a key to 202. And the reason why I had it laid out that way was because I went into the supermarket and the price was under the item, so I was like, sure, I'll do it that way. There was only one part of the supermarket, so that's fine. I still haven't fixed this. So it's in an update that I just haven't completed yet. But there were a bunch of other bugs as well. For example, the no time to read achievement. Just everyone got it. Even if it took you 40 minutes, it still gave it to you. That did get fixed at some point, but there were a bunch of other bugs as well. Achievements. This is the biggest thing that really helped me understand the game. So we have these 5 achievements here. Each of them were a different point in the game that tells me how people progress or what people are interested in. So to kind of lay that out, 53% of people that play the game don't get to send the screwdriver. That's a huge percentage, and I don't know if that's because they start the game and then decide it's not their favourite type of game, or if there was a bug that they didn't get through or they didn't understand it, so there's a huge gap in gameplay there. But 34% of people completed the optional achievements. That's also taken into consideration the bug mentioned before with the speedrun achievement. But it's nice to see that still some people are trying to 100% the game. So what do people want from the game? So there was a lot of feedback, and I tried to consider everything to see what would actually be worth going into it. So a lot of people wanted to be able to die in the game. There's actually no way to do that. It's a very linear experience. People wanted to be able to save, because if you do take your time with it, reading everything, understanding everything, and considering all ideas, it can take you an hour. Speed running can take you 10 minutes. Under that, even 8 minutes if you speed run it. People wanted a list of instructions to do because they just didn't care about the chat, and since they didn't read the chat, they didn't know what to do and just quit. A lot of people didn't want as much reading too, just because that's not a fun experience for anyone or everyone. People wanted weapons and shooting, of course, because it's a horror game. We all want to bang bang, boom boom, right? That's how it goes. But what would I do differently? Right, me being the prime lead developer of this one, I would actually ask for help earlier, as there's so many YouTubers out there at the moment that say, I made an amazing game and it made hundreds of dollars in the first month, all by myself, one person project. And that there means that I should be able to do that as well. That's not their impression, but that's the feeling that I get from it. But if I asked for help earlier, I would have learned more, I would have bonded more with my team, and the project would have come out a lot better too. Should have prototyped it earlier. Tried my best to get everything done as much as could, but the hardest part was actually writing the chat. I'm not a writer. I don't even like talking to people. Here I am doing a presentation on it. I don't know. But yeah, that there would have helped us understand the flow a lot more. The team in general were very confused about how the game was going to portray, even though I had everything documented and stuff. But that would have helped us find out these other issues like less reading. Right. And of course, it leads into getting feedback earlier. Is getting people that aren't on the team to play the game to say, "Hey, I want you to play it. Tell me or give me your hardest criticism, right? I want to know everything so I can make a good judgment on what to do next." I should have started the itch.io page when the game was released. I did that about halfway through, and that resulted in getting pretty much no one clicking on the page, because when you release a game on itch.io, it gets featured when you publish it, not later on down the line. So we lost a huge opportunity there. However, on Steam, we put it up at the same time, and that brought in a lot more people, a lot more wish lists, which boosted the game when it got released. And of course, should have put the blog on Steam. I should have had a writer on the team for a narrative-heavy game. It seems very obvious now, but I was very determined to try and do that part myself. I mean, like, cool. I learned from the experience, and I know now. We did have a couple narrative people on the team. Like, we started off with Cassiel. She helped write the draft. And then we had Woody. He came on later on and helped like make the narrative feel more natural and more alive. But overall, writing the story in the game, having someone focus on that would have made it so much better. Right. Did I actually achieve what I wanted? So the goals that I mentioned before, did I actually achieve everything? So I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to make it a good game and people to come back to my future games. Well, all the comments and positive reviews and people saying that they hope they do more. One person even said that they wanted to give me money. Crazy, right? Yeah, so I think that actually proves that I made a name for myself. So people will know that I have made a good game at least. I wanted to prove to myself I can make more than just prototypes. Yeah, there's a game on Steam now that's fully released. Go download it for free, play it yourself. Done. I wanted to build a framework for future games to use. So this isn't just going to be a game made and then move on to the next one. Instead, I want to use a lot of the stuff I made and put it into the next project. So in this case, yes. I did make a reusable chat system, yes. But would I use it again? I don't think so. It was very clunky, made it hard to do branching stories. Overall, I would rather use another asset like Node Canvas, for example. Extendable third-person controller. First, this should be first-person, right? First-person controller. Yep, that can be easily reused. Flexible interactive computer, yeah, with the desktop dragging windows around, opening folders and things like that, yep. And of course the Steam build tool, so I can start a build on Unity Cloud and then upload it to Steam just from Unity. Save myself so much time. So yes, I did do that. Get a game featured by a popular influencer. Well, there were a lot of amazing people that have a lot of subscribers that had great personalities and I really enjoyed watching. However, yes, that is the case, but that wasn't my target, as I mentioned. I did say Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, they did not play the game, and that there kind of tells me that this is a fail. But I'm not failing for that. I love all the influencers and everyone there made videos. They're all really nice. They had a great time. I had a great time watching them. Overall, this should not have been a goal of mine. That is why I'm actually considering this a fail, because I shouldn't be trying to target influencers. I should be trying to target the players instead, to find out what the players want and make a good game for that. And that there will bring in much more talent. So I'm happy to fail this one. I know not to do it next time. Don't want any influencers to feel bad by this at all. Yeah. Was it worth it? 2 years of work? Well, debatable. right? We all have different ideas of what worth means to anyone. But to kind of talk about something a bit more serious for a moment. Hang on. Whoa. Alright, okay, big me. So let's talk about, like mental health for a little bit, right? Making games is extremely hard, as anyone that has tried it will do. There's a lot that goes into them. It's a lot of hard work, planning, playtesting, and of course, when you put in that much effort into creativity, it's hard when people criticize it, because you put your heart and soul into this, and then people can easily just shut it down, right? So that's why I'd like to talk about this for a little bit. So to kind of mention to it, this game wouldn't have been possible without the team, right? Because they were there to help me along the way, build up this project and make it what it is. Of course, the sort of like social gurus that helped spread the game around as well when they found out, whether that's on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, whatever, that really helps, emphasize the effort put into something like making a game. And then of course all the influences as well of people that took the time to play the game, edit it, and put it onto their profile, which is not only just a risk on their careers, but onto their mental health too, if anything goes wrong. So, and then of course at home, I wouldn't have been able to do this without my partner, which is now my wife. Got married actually after during this development as well. I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. So, was it worth it? Yeah, I think it was. Because it's not about the result, it's about what was learned. I learned a ton making this project, and I really hope that these slides actually helped you as well. Some advice that I give to others that want to actually make their own games, I have to say, lower your scope. A great short game is better than a big bad game. Spend 2 days just making the most crappiest looking game, but as long as you are happy with the result, you'll be better than trying to make the most perfect looking game in 2 years, only to realize that you don't even like playing it. Work with others. If you want to make a game by yourself, go for it. You're not me. You don't have to take my advice, but my advice is work with others. If there's something you can't do but you know someone else can, it's great for you both to learn together and upskill together. It could be a lot of fun. They might have other ways to improve your game as well. Be nice to yourself. It's just a game. Don't forget, it's just a game. If you're trying to make money from it, it's not just a game, it's become a job. So be nice to yourself. Don't criticize anything. Do the best you can. Learn from it and make something better next time. Of course, take lots of pictures and GIFs throughout development, because it's easy to forget about your progress and forget how much you've done and how far you've come. We are all human, and that there is really uplifting when you realize, wow, this changed after just 1 month. I forgot about that, and it's exciting for yourself. You might be doing a video one day. Yeah, damn, forgot to press the button. Google your name before committing to it. Right now, if you Google last message on YouTube, you will not get this game. Instead, you'll get a lot of other much sadder content. So check your game name before you commit to it. Seriously. And yeah, thank you for watching us presentation. Hope you learned something, and look forward to seeing you all. Message me on Twitter, YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, and of course there's my Itch.io if you're curious about anything else that I've done. Yeah. Thank you.